so happy to be here. I love the meditations always. That's probably one of the first things that drew me to the just not just the pure silence, but the people that would come up here and speak. And I would just sit and take that all in, and it's where my angels would come to me, and I would literally feel and see that energy in my mind's eye. And I always got so much peace from coming to Unity, and that's why you see me here every now and then. Let me get to my lecture that I had to completely write out, because I'm not that far yet where I can just spout it all out. Yesterday I was actually at the library in Lake Jackson doing a talk, a little bit different. And I left all the spiritual stuff out, and I was going to keep that with you guys here today. So, and I would like to thank Unity Church for allowing me the opportunity to speak here today. As you know, my name is Cherie Roniker, and I'm the proud owner of my third child, A Pilgrimage Without End, How Cancer Healed My Broken Heart. This book means a lot to me. This book did for me what no psychiatrist has ever been able to do, and that's heal my heart. Like I say in the book, the writing is the best therapy money never could buy or bought me. So if anybody is stuck on anything, I will tell you it's true when they say keep a journey and write stuff down, and it really, really helps. In the book, I describe my life, which was one of trouble and many challenges, and cancer was just one of them, and it wasn't even the main challenge that I've had to endure. When it comes to the religion, I have searched my whole life for a church home, and this hasn't always been easy because of the many, many views I've come across in my life and my pilgrimage, and I embrace actually a lot. I don't want to stifle myself and hold on to just one. But because I believe so strongly that God's main purpose for us is to love and accept each and every one of us, it seems that Unity Church comes closest to my chosen path. Unity knows that we are one, even if we do not want to always accept that about each other. Unity embraces all of us and does not judge any of us, and neither does God. And so I think they're closest to my spiritual road. In my book, I say judgment because I felt its nasty effects, unfortunately, by the person who was supposed to love me the most, my mother, is something I've tried my hardest my entire life to stay clear of. Like most of us, that is not always easy, especially when we turn on the TV these days and watch our own leaders go at it. It's my goal and desire to continue to accept and love others regardless of their faith and political beliefs. Matthew chapter 18 verse 3 states it so beautifully for me. Then Jesus said, I tell all of you with certainty, unless you change and become like little children, you will never come into the kingdom of heaven. The way I understand this to be is that we must become pure of heart like little children in order to find the peace here on earth that is also in heaven. We are born with only two fears, the fear of loud noises and the fear of falling. All other fears are taught us. Fear to me is never good. Caution and common sense, of course, are, especially in today's society. Fear holds us back and is the opposite of love, as you yourself stated so beautifully. And as far as I understand it, fear is very much not of God, because God, to me, equals love. Look at a young child. She does not hate. She does not discriminate. A child does not want others to suffer. He does not think ill of others. And so, I chose to teach myself through practice, lots of patience for myself, and persistency, and of course through daily application, to look at people through the eyes of my inner child. The fruits of this practice have been that I hardly feel judged anymore, even if I am. Like a young child, what other people think of me is no longer something that consumes me, bothers me, or keeps me up at night. It is also why I feel I can speak my mind without worrying what others might say. Like anything good and worthwhile in life, this letting go of fear does not come natural to us. Society, our parents, and life itself have done a really good job beating fear into us. But now it's up to us to let go of it. I promise you, it's so very worth trying. It will bring you so much closer to God. Surrender and let go of your fears and worries. Accept and appreciate your life just as it is today. This does not mean that if there are things you want to accomplish or habits you might want to get rid of, you sit back and wait for God to fix it for you. Accepting things the way they are simply means being okay with life as it is today without letting go of your dreams for tomorrow. Look at my situation for an example. Just because I was told that the cancer that had invaded my body was incurable, it did not stop me from living and doing everything I could to prove the doctors wrong. And so far, I have. Nor did it stop me from finishing school, even if it meant writing an essay during the worst part of my treatment and disease, when I could barely sit up and think straight. It did not mean waiting for the end to arrive. No, when I could no longer do massages, I started working at Peak Nutrition in Lake Jackson, making much less money than I had in the past. And when I could no longer do that, I started writing, turned it into a book that actually got published. Some may think that if anybody had the right to quit, it was me. But if you quit, you kind of die, even if you don't, if you know what I mean. And I was determined to make these months, weeks, months, now years, and hopefully decades to come, even more important and more meaningful than the first part of my life. I know I'm living on borrowed time. I should be dead, but I am alive, and I'm going to make the best of the time I have left. Now I would like to take a moment to share with you a comment I recently received from a friend of mine. Please don't be offended by it. I wasn't. I might have in the past, but I wasn't now. It did, however, make me stop and think what some people believe in, how adamantly they believe in it, and believe that they are right, and how this simply isn't always the case. People say that our thoughts are things, and I do believe that. They also say that we can fix our bodies simply by thinking ourselves better. And I used to really believe that too. What my friend said, and I will not mention his name, is that, "Dear Cherie, stop telling yourself that you have cancer. Instead, declare that you are completely healed, not in the future, but right now. Remember, there are no incurable diseases, only incurable people." Thank you, my friend. Of course, his assumption was that I had not been saying these things for years, when in fact, of course, I have been saying these things for years. Does this sound familiar? Does any of us here think that way? Do you ever think when somebody is sick that they may be doing something wrong? That they might be thinking wrong? Or that they might not be faithful enough? Maybe they are eating wrong, taking the wrong supplements. Could they be praying wrong? Maybe they're not saying their positive affirmations right. Aren't we taught that we can think ourselves whole in the here and now? We know that to say, "I will get better," can't get us better, right? Since will is in the future. Surely, if sick people would do this or that, think differently, pray differently, believe differently, they would be healed, right? The very humbling thing is that I used to think this way too. That is, until I knew that I was praying, thinking, eating, living the right way. Yet I ended up with late-stage cancer that so far, physically, has not been cured yet. This realization, with my whole faith perception, almost brought me to the breaking point. It made me doubt everything I had ever learned. It made me doubt God, and it made me doubt myself. Then I started to evolve. How did I do this? I had to surrender. I had to surrender my ego to God. It was a hard thing to do because I did not know God's will. Maybe He wanted me to come home. Hey, only the good die young, right? And I thought I was a pretty good person. It's quite kind of an offensive statement if you think for all the good old people out there. What about those? Maybe He wanted my daughter to be raised without a mommy. No, hell no. I refuse to believe that. This little girl who had gone through too much already, yet had come out thriving, happy and caring, would be changed forever if her mom, her soft place to fall, would die. We had no family here, we had no aunts, uncles, she had no siblings here, it would just be her and her dad. I would not accept that this might be God's will. Would you? Can you blame me? Then why did the cancer not go away? Was I not praying all day, every day? Was I not affirming in a positive way? Did I not believe that I was whole, always have been, and always would be? Did I not say over and over again, out loud, like a crazy woman when I was walking the streets, cancer will never be part of me or my family ever again? Did I not truly believe these words? Yes, I did. Of course, some of my spiritual friends told me therein lied the issue. These friends told me that saying it over and over again was proof of my doubt. I needed to say it once, believe it with all my heart and soul, and continue living as if there were no cancer. That's easier said than done when you feel the effects of multiple myeloma, the cancer that turned my ribs, spine, and pelvis into Swiss cheese. I felt constant pain and nausea from the cancer and the chemo drugs. I had to get infusions every other week. I had to take several pills every day. It's not easy to act as if you don't have cancer when it has taken over your life.